Alrighty, welcome to another Node Nation hosted AMA. I'm Mascot here for Node Nation with the Defi Syndicate team coming to talk a little bit about their project, their future for Defi Syndicate, and what they aim to do in the DeFi space as far as building a really nice sustainable project, creating yields for people. So that being said, we appreciate you guys being here. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and a little bit about your project, what chain you're on, what you guys do, and what your roles are with DeFi Syndicate, that would be great.
Nori, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure. So I'm Nori. Laird and I are basically have equal ownership of the project and kind of working on different aspects of it. I'm working heavy on tokenomics and managing the Discord community, and thought it would be really fun to make a project, more sustainable project, and see what happens.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'm Layered Risk, and like Nori said, we're both partners in this project. I think the sustainability that you talked about was sort of our core. I mean, that was the beginning of the project. We were looking around the space and watching things blow up, or seeing obvious Ponzi's. Set aside the rugs and everything else. The projects that were actually legitimately trying to do something seemed like that they were baking in a lot of inflation from the beginning, and that was sort of the seed that grew into what we've tried to build. Was watching a lot of people in the space and knowing that there was an eventual end to these projects, and everybody was just trying to ignore the fact that there was a lot of inflation in the space. So we sort of tried to, and instead of a lot of projects will try to tackle the inflation issue after it punches them in the face. We tried to come up from a tokenomics perspective, a way to begin the project knowing that was the monster that we were going to have to slay in order to build a sustainable, like you said, project. So
Beautiful. Well, great answers. And you guys are on Avalanche chain, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And just so everybody knows, stay tuned because they're going to be doing some giveaways for whitelist, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Awesome. So multiple whitelist spot giveaways. So stay till the end to get in on those juicy details. We're going to go ahead and go into questions. And if anybody wants to come up, feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you up so you can ask away. Mango asks, sustainability functions. Nodes in PTE seem like there's going to be a lot of returns going out. Are there going to be burns or buybacks? What is your strategy planned to prevent too high a yield from your project?
So I guess we should take a quick little step back though before we answer that. So we're planning our project out in multiple phases. So phase one, which we've already launched, was a reflection token. And the purpose of that was to, raise some funds for phase two and to give people an option to kind of get preferential treatment for when phase two gets in. So you buy our SYN tokens right now and you get a conversion at a set token to a NFT, and the NFT in phase two is going to be the play to earn aspect of it. So I feel like the play to earn and nodes have they're similar in many ways. We're not going to have like a set yield, for instance, like nodes do. It's going to be based on the play to earn aspect of it. But as far as the sustainability goes, we're not going to be offering these huge, unsustainable daily returns, and we're going to be having token sinks within the project. So you're not going to be seeing a couple percentage per day like a lot of people are doing. We're still working out the exact numbers, but it's going to be something that we will consider far more sustainable than what most people are doing. We'll also have some various taxes on certain parts of it, and those taxes will go towards burns, so that we do take some tokens out of circulation, and we intend for there to be a robust NFT marketplace as well. And by controlling the marketplace, we'll be able to charge in our native token, and again, we'll have a small tax on that will go towards burns.
Gotcha. Sounds like you guys have a plan for it. Molly Millions asks, question from the DeFi Syndicate community. What are your plans for marketing, and have you looked at how other projects are approaching marketing so that you can kind of see what works and what doesn't work?
You can take that one, Laird.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're trying to do a sort of two-pronged approach to marketing. We're definitely hitting the node space, but we have tried to create some NFTs that actually have artistic value. So we're definitely going to hit the NFT community too, and in hopes of actually introducing some people that don't know about nodes to nodes. So that's going to be our marketing strategy. I mean, it is our marketing strategy now, and it'll sort of continue to be our marketing strategy. When we get deeper into some of the other phases where we want to expand the play to earn and introduce more gamification, that will probably expand out into more ecosystems, like Axis Infinity and some of those other actual games.
Yeah, great answer.
And I wanted to touch on Mango's question too about the buybacks and burns. So we did buybacks and burns. So the token right now that we currently have reflects AVAX. Volume has gone down enough to where people aren't getting the passive income from that we would hope that they would still continue to get, which is why we're planning on doing this relaunch when the LP unlocks. And originally we wanted to do a token that automatically burned on buys and sells, but we could not get a contract to function the way that we wanted it to. And it wasn't until Everburn sort of perfected that we found a contract that we liked that did basically what we intended to do originally. So where we were doing manual buybacks and burns before, the new contract will have burns baked in. And we will also, we took a snapshot, so we'll airdrop ourselves what we currently hold SEN token wise. We plan to burn that. I think that supply was around 800,000. We're planning on burning that down to 500,000, and that'll be used for marketing and giveaways to the community.
Okay, good stuff. Are there any talks of a native marketplace that uses a project token to transact, using SYN to buy, sell, etc., could increase volume and reflections for holders? I think
we are going to, right? Yeah, we are going to have a native NFT marketplace. However, the plan is to have the SYN token phased out in phase 2 by offering those special NFTs for people to get. And then at that point, we'll be releasing a new token, and the NFT marketplace will use that token natively. And that'll be the reward token from the play to earn aspect of phase 2.
Beautiful. Great answer. Very succinct. I like you guys' answers. You're really to the point and concise. You know your direction, which means a lot, to a project. So when you hear a lot of maybe, coming from project developers and the people that drive the ship, it's concerning. So it's really cool to see you guys have that solid sort of answers. I guess we'll go ahead and give away a whitelist spot to the first person that wants to come up and ask a question. Put a little fire under the boots here. Just raise that hand and we'll get you up on stage. Love doing that. We got Mango typing a question. So in the meantime, let me go ahead and ask a question myself. What started your guys' interest to create this project? What was your inspiration, and what's your past experience with other projects as far as development or moderation, ideation, really the whole background?
Well, so we got big into the whole ohm fork craze, and obviously that kind of fell flat.
I was there with you.
Yeah, yeah, and looking back on it, you're like, man, what were we thinking? Like, how could you sustain a million APY or any of those sorts of things? But it was fun and interesting. But it kind of highlighted the fact that there's just not a lot of um, serious DeFi projects out there that focus on being around long term. I mean, sure, there's stuff like Curve Finance and various other things, but not in the kind of more of the fun stance of interesting sustainable projects. And so we're looking at all this and we're like, maybe we could do something better. And so we started playing around with some ideas and wrote up a design document and stuff, and ended up kind of changing our ideas several times, and thought that might be kind of fun to take a stab at it. And that's when we ended up doing the reflection token.
And I think
towards phase two.
coming from the Ohm Fork space, now we were in crypto before that, but the coming from the Ohm Fork space, I mean that was probably your purest example of inflation is those rebase tokens. So, watching that entire space implode, some projects for no reason and were just collateral damage, and some projects were just, straight Ponzi's or highly inflation or, ridiculous APYs. I mean, obviously unsustainable. And a lot of people treated those like tomb forks, where they just went into it knowing, well, this is a temporary endeavor. And you had other people in the space like Redacted and Olympus that they had a plan to stay around for a long time, and even Wonderland. I mean, the concept of putting this huge treasury to work, venture, doing crowdsourced or crowdfunded VC investments. Redacted doing their sort of trying to do like a niche DAO and basically monopolize a certain sector of DeFi. So you had some serious projects, but for the most part, and especially some of the ones that we invested in, they seem to be serious projects, but no one can escape the inflation in that space, and I think that's what took it down. But whenever you bought into those ohm forks, you were playing around with the calculator. You were thinking about how many Lambos you were going to buy in 6 months. Like, people took that passive income lasting a long time. They took that seriously. And I think people in the node space take it a lot more seriously. When you buy a Thor node, you think about, what am I going to do with this income whenever I pay my initial investment off, and it's just printing money 6 months from now, a year from now, people think 2 years from now. Well, that's what we wanted to do, was actually create a project that could do that could actually sustain for long periods of time. Like that was our overarching goal throughout the entire project, was sustainability and combating inflation.
Gotcha. Well, those are good goals to have, man. If you can solve those two big issues, then you're on the heels of something really, really awesome. Curious Ape was the first one to come up. So if you're here, man, go ahead and ask your question.
Yep. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to ask, why you picked Avalanche, and if you're going to roll it out to, if it's in the plans at all in the future to roll it out to different, L1s or anything like that, or even potentially in the L2s space.
So we really like Avalanche because we're really bullish on its future. And then additionally, we feel like it's one of the more user-friendly chains out there. We considered a couple of other chains, but it made a lot of sense to us. We also like where the future is heading with their subnetting. It's actively being developed, which I know is, some of these things are also true of other chains. But, one thing that we wanted a lot with this project was to try to make things pretty easy and simple for people. And if you go and buy AVAX on basically any centralized exchange, which many, many, many centralized exchanges have AVAX, you can natively transfer it to the C chain. Whereas there's some other tokens, like Phantom, for instance, where many of the centralized exchanges only support withdrawing to Ethereum, which is just not a great experience. And then you have to worry about getting gas and all this different stuff. So we just feel like the overall experience for Avalanche is better. We have no plans to expand to other chains at this point. It's something we could consider in the future. We've thrown around some ideas of bridging protocols and stuff, but that would be pretty far out.
Yeah, and a lot of problem, like whenever you get into the layer twos, if you want to get to, if we were to try to go to Arbitrum, you've still got the gatekeeper of Ethereum, and I don't think that ETH 2.0 is going to fix the gas problem. So whenever you're talking about just like we were talking about earlier before we actually went live, when you're doing as many transactions as you're doing with a node, whether that be compounding or harvesting, it's just super hard to try to do that on a high gas chain. So AVAX is great because, like Nori said, it's user friendly. Gas fees are low, even whenever the chain is congested. And you can go from your centralized exchange, like Nori said, straight to your wallet. It's just it's in our opinion, it's sort of the best chain for these kinds of projects. And I'm super glad that things like Anchor Protocol, Stargate, some of these other projects are moving and getting involved in the AVAX chain. I mean, Anchor Protocol stamp of approval tells you everything you need to know about being bullish on AVAX.
For sure. Thank you.
Great question, Curious Ape. And just make sure to DM these guys after to get that whitelist spot.
Absolutely.
Mango asks, are SYN holders getting airdropped the new tokens as well, or just the NFTs?
They will be getting the new tokens from current holders will be getting the new tokens from the relaunch. Now you're not getting airdropped phase 2 NFT. It's going to be an exchange. So you'll put in 22,500 SYN and you'll get one NFT in exchange. And so that works out to 4 for a max wallet.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And then the tokens that you put in will be burned since we're retiring the SYN project.
And I'd like to hit his question too on the increased volume and reflections, because I missed that whenever I was answering that question before. That's sort of the main goal of doing this relaunch is have a better contract and also stir up some more commotion to increase the volume and reflections.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me. So how many NFTs will be in the collection, and how many rare NFTs can be minted with SYN?
There will be around 6,900 NFTs total, and of that 6,900, 300 will be mintable with SYN.
Wow, small amount. I like it. Keeping it tight. That's nice. Um, so what token will the new contract reflect, if any, and will it still be on the Avalanche chain?
It's still going to be AVAX, yes.
Okay, perfect. Reflection tokens are a very interesting thing. It's always fun to see, how they move. They're very in a unique sort of niche.
Mm-hmm.
Little Grand
Definitely.
says that he only has 10,000 SIN. What will happen to him and other wallets if you need to have 22,500?
That is a good question. So we're going to be evaluating how many people are going to have less than that 22,500. And we have a few different ideas that we're working on for taking care of that, whether that be just buying them out, or we've thrown in an idea of having a single-sided staking for phase 2, where you would earn a portion of claim taxes if you deposit your SIN into it. But we're kind of we have good options for taking care of it, but we're kind of in a wait and see how SIN really plays out once we get closer to the launch of phase 2.
Okay, great answer.
But we plan on, once we get to phase 2, we plan on offering value to all SIN holders, whether they have enough to get the NFT or not. So
Makes sense. Now, on the heels of what you had said earlier about 4 and the maximum, is there a maximum number of NFTs that a wallet can hold?
That is a good question. We have thrown that idea around a bit on deciding if we should limit it or not, and we have not come to a consensus yet. There is many pros and cons. Well, there are some pros and cons for it. A lot of projects do limit the numbers so you don't have whales coming in. We'll probably end up limiting it to something like 10. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really change a whole lot because someone can just start another wallet. So that's why we've kind of gone back and forth with it.
I got you. Yeah, people with the wallet dancing is always a thing. So, how did you guys arrive at 22,500? Did you take the average amount held by current SIN holders?
It's actually related to our plans to phase out the SIN token. So if you multiply 22,500 by 300, you come to a very nice number based on our overall supply. So it's 6,750,000 tokens, and our total supply is 9 million, but our circulating supply is 7.6 million. So that would, assuming that all 300 got minted, it would take out a vast majority of the tokens.
Makes good sense to me. And I think our friend Curious Ape has come back up here to ask another question. What's going on, man?
Hey, sorry, no, I just wanted to follow up on you guys that were talking about phase 2 and in terms of the native token, whether you guys were going to just wondering if you're going to like create something from an LP. You talked about some kind of single staking, but are you guys planning potentially on being able to stake that native token to earn, whatever, like whether it's AVAX or some other kind of thing, which would kind of help to, from a tokenomic standpoint?
So this would be for the SIN token, which is what we currently have. In phase 2, we will be releasing a new rewards token because it's going to have to be a new token contract and new contract altogether. And so that will be a new token. So what we're going to do for one of the ideas that we had for the smaller holders of the SIN token was to have a single-sided staking where you would deposit your SIN tokens, and those would basically be burned. But in return, you would get a portion of claim taxes from the play to earn aspect of the phase 2.
Okay, but in terms of when people do the actual play to earn and they earn, the second token, right, the new token, is there going to be a place for someone to put that token in to earn while they're either accumulating it to buy another NFT or to do other things that are within kind of your ecosystem? That's what I got.
I mean, it's an idea we've had, but we don't currently have any plans to do that. It is a possibility. Obviously, there's a lot of projects out there that that do that. The main concern for that would be, most projects that you seem to just earn more of the existing token, which is fine for the people who are staking, but it's not necessarily overly great for the protocol unless that's some sort of limited pool. Like if you took a portion of your claim taxes, it went towards a pool for single-sided staking, then that would be fine because, maybe those tokens would have been used for something else anyway. So it is an idea that we've played around with, but we don't have any plans for that at this time.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Hey, good questions, man. Appreciate it. And great answers from you guys. If anyone else wants to come up, we'll go ahead and give another whitelist spot. So in the meantime, what do you guys see as the time frames from now till the minting of these NFTs and phasing out of the SYN token? What's your relative roadmap as far as from today?
You can take that one, Laird.
Yeah, well, we are shooting for 25 to 30 days from now to launch the phase 2 aspect of it. The NFTs will probably be done before that. But we don't necessarily want to let people mint NFT nodes and not really have anything to do with them. Like I said, they will have an artistic value. I've worked pretty hard on trying to have value outside of just the noding up factor. So we could sell them if we wanted to before the phase 2 launch, but we would probably want to hold off on that. So realistically, the NFTs will be done before that, before we're done with the finishing up the DApp and the core contracts.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Good answer. It's always nice to have an idea of where we're heading. Are you guys going to have an audit? And if not, are you going to have any bug bounties? If you're familiar with what a bug bounty is.
Surprisingly enough, we've actually already paid out a bug bounty without even having an official bug bounty. So we had a problem with the current contract, and a helpful person pointed out what the issue was. So we sent them some AVAX. We would like to have an audit of our phase 2 for sure. We don't plan on having an audit in phase 1, but we would like to have an audit in phase 2, definitely.
Gotcha.
As far as a bug bounty, yeah, audits are good. And as far as a bug bounty, we're more than happy to reward people who help us figure out any issues we might run across.
Oh yeah, big believer in audits and always checking the validity and security of what it's super important. It's like going and checking your work, just like back in school, right? So
yeah. What grade did the teacher give us?
Now you guys are doing awesome. So if nobody else has any questions or wants to raise their hand, here we go, Molly Millions. How will the airdrop be conducted?
We're just going to drop the tokens to people on a one-to-one basis based on the snapshot. We will take another snapshot before we do that, of course, and then we'll just compare the two snapshots and make sure that we didn't get people doing nefarious things, trying to game it. Yeah, you'll just get an airdrop.
Gotcha. Well, great stuff. It seems like we're coming into the end of the questions as we hit this 30-minute mark here. So if you guys just have some final remarks, the most important takeaway that you want people to know right off the top about Defi Syndicate, go ahead and share that. And then after that, please share your plans for the remaining giveaways that you wanted to bring to Node Nation today.
Absolutely. But I can handle the giveaways, Nori, if you want to handle the future plans.
Sure. So
I have some big ideas, so you keep me grounded.
No big ideas. So the most important takeaways now, I would say, is what's coming in the near future. So we're relaunching phase 1. We're targeting next week, assuming everything goes good. That should give us plenty of time to figure it all out. And then after that launch, we're going to continue to be releasing NFT teasers up until then and after that. And we'll continue to work towards phase 2. And so, just stick around and pay attention to what we're doing. And I think you'll like what we're coming up with.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Well, I really love your guys' energy, and you really bring some professionalism to the space, and not just nodes and P2E, but with reflections as well. So it'll be exciting to see what you guys do moving forward.
Yeah, we love Node Nation. It's got a very enthusiastic following, especially Sperm. He's the most entertaining person, I think, in Node Nation.
Oh man, great dude. Love that guy.
Absolutely. Just and that's the other thing. He's hilarious, and he is just all around good guy. But yeah, we had talked with you. I was thinking about we would give all Diamond members uh, a whitelist, and then we're planning on doing an additional whitelist giveaway for Node Nation members, and they can head over to our Discord, and we were going to conduct that giveaway over there.
Okay, awesome. Well, we really appreciate you guys taking time out of your, I'm sure, very busy day to spend with us here at No Nation and kind of discuss where you're at, where you're going, and what you want to do moving forward. And we appreciate you and what you guys are doing for the DeFi space as a whole. So big thanks to your community for coming out here and spending time and listening. Big thanks to the Node Nation community as always. I've been Mascot, Nori, Layered Risk. We appreciate you guys, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much.